Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. After receiving his very harsh beating this morning, 27 days off, working days, plus 54 days pay docked, Michael Matheson has gone away to lick his wounds. However, he's not the only one licking his wounds. John Swinny has come out and is defending him. He's saying that the whole process was prejudiced, presumably prejudiced against guilty people, and that he will not be voting to subject him to the punishment. He's going to defend him in vote form when it goes up before Holyrood. So let's just get this straight and look at it fully. You've now got the leader of a party looking at a man who has been found guilty, is therefore a liar and a fraudster. And as you're walking into a general election, the leader of the party says, we don't care about the rules, we don't care about the law, I'm going to defend this guy and not vote against him because it's okay to lie and steal. Nice move, John. How do you think the optics are looking for this one? What a complete arse. The thing he should do is actually say, no, stand away and say, he needs to resign. I'm not defending him. I'm voting against him. I need this punishment to go because we are a party of integrity. It seems the SNP are not a party of integrity. They're a party of crooks who look after their own. Dearie me, the old code of silence, eh? Let's have a look. So John Swinney defends Michael Matheson as he claims the suspension was prejudiced. He was found guilty. Everybody knows he was guilty. And now Swinny tries to defend it. Swinny's saying, no, it's okay. Lying is fine. Thievery is okay. If you want to try and lie and defraud the people of Scotland, knock yourself out. I'm all for it. Why not? He's been in the SNP long enough to know that that's their standard operating procedure, isn't it? The First Minister came to the defence of his long-term Scottish Government colleague as he insisted the 27-day suspension was too much and it would bring Parliament into disrepute if MSPs backed it. MSPs are going to back this because they don't like liars and thieves. Swinny does. John Swinney has thrown his support behind his good friend Michael Matheson as he claimed his 27-day suspension from the Scottish Parliament was prejudiced and confirmed he would be voting against it. His defence on his colleague was described as incredible and indefensible by rivals. The shamed former Scottish Health Secretary is facing growing calls to resign as an MSP as he could be banned from the premises for almost a month. That's working days, so it could end up being 6 weeks. This is as well as losing a chunk of his salary. He attempted to claw back £11,000 from the taxpayer through expenses which were labelled improper by the Standards Committee. That means it's fraud. It's a crime. And Swinny defends it. We all know why he was doing it, don't we? After days of claiming the data bill was due to constituency work, or lying, as we like to call it, he finally admitted that his kids used his data to watch Scottish football. Again, lying. Lying again. He was found guilty of failing to tell parliamentary authorities about this, lying by omission, and he quit his role eventually as a cabinet member. Despite the damning committee report, Mr Swinney defended his friend and told MSPs at FMQs that he believed the process was prejudiced due to public comments made by the Scottish Tory MSP Annie Wells. Annie Wells is not happy at this. Let me tell you, Annie Wells is very seriously not happy. He claimed that if the sanctions were voted through, then it would bring the Parliament into disrepute. No, having a liar and a thief still in the Parliament brings it into disrepute. He was slated by Scottish Tory Douglas Ross, who could barely hide his incredulity that a First Minister who promised to govern for all of Scotland was instead backing his pal and supporting the SNP over the country. He pointed out that Mr Matheson could have been sacked in real life over the incident. If it had been at any other job, he'd be down the road. Or actually aiding police with their inquiries. And not in a good way. He called on the SNP MSP to resign and for a by-election to be held at Falkirk West on July the 4th, the same day as the general election, and indicated he'd be calling for a debate next week which would cover this. He told Mr Swinney that if he didn't back this, then he would not be doing the right thing for his country. Ross said the deep damage Michael Matheson has done to public trust in Parliament demands that he resign. But we know he's unlikely to do that. What will shock and appall people across Scotland, though, is that he's now being endorsed by the First Minister. The First Minister of the SNP backing and endorsing a liar and a thief. So if the SNP won't do the right thing, then the Scottish Governments will seek, the Scottish Conservatives will seek to bring forward a vote in this chamber stating that Michael Matheson should resign for misusing taxpayers' money and making false statements to the public, to the press and to the Parliament. Will John Swinney do what he promised he would and lead this government on behalf of the whole of Scotland and support our call for Michael Matheson to resign, or will he support his nationalist friend? Matheson made a false claim for £11,000 and he did not tell the truth to the press, the public and Parliament, but the SNP claimed there was nothing to see here. They defended Michael Matheson every step of the way. And it's rather unfortunate, all that defence, because it turns out he's guilty. Anyone in the real world would lose their job for what Michael Matheson did, but John Swinney is saying it's unacceptable. Sorry, it is acceptable for an MSP to take public money, then not be honest about it. The public disagrees, and they will soon have their chance to have their say. He's doing this. He's coming out and defending this weeks before a general election. How does he think this is going to go? How does he think this looks out there in the real world? It isn't good. You can't get past these people. They literally have no political nous whatsoever. Either that or their arrogance is so complete that they don't even think that it matters what people think. Mr. Swinny hit back at Ross, admitting that Matheson is a good friend and colleague, and adding, I do have an issue where people have prejudged the case, because that brings this Parliament into disrepute, and as a consequence of the conduct of this process, I don't believe this is a sanction that can be applied. Scottish Labour leader Alice Sarwar called Mr. Swinney's comments an embarrassment, and said this was a sign that he backed the SNP over Scotland, and was definitely pushing the thievery of people in the SNP is absolutely acceptable. What else is it? This is why Swinny is no use. This is why Swinny's not going to last. And it's why the SNP are literally going to get their arse handed to them in 6 weeks' time. And I cannot wait. Coming up. Now, of course, all the SNP will try and rally round Michael Matheson. I'm not entirely sure every single SNP will vote for him. Some may be unavailable that day. You know, I was magically held up, car problems or something. Certainly all the opposition will vote for it. I can't see him surviving it. And if he does lose it and he has got that full suspension, he has to go. He doesn't have to go, of course. But, you know, if he was any shred of decency, he would. But he's no shred of decency. If he had a shred of decency, of course, he wouldn't have tried to steal and lie all the way through. So decency's out the way. And he is absolutely desperate for the money because unemployable now, isn't he? And soon probably to be divorced. But it is astounding that Swinny thinks that this is a defendable position. Defending Matheson after he's been found guilty of lying and thieving. Goes to show the SNP filled to the ginnels with crooks. Thank you very much for watching. That is it for the day. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. There'll be some shorts, but that will be it for the long form. And I will speak to you again tomorrow. Bye.